Hey guys. Well, I think this is the second morning that we've awoken without an airplane buzz bombing the house loudly. And it seemed to be a sort of a more peaceful beginning of the day. I've been checking out some of the headlines, some of the stories going around. I saw and I believe it's because it's supposed to be symbolic or significant somehow, signifying the changes that are going on or something like that in the story. Whenever we're not living any of that, you know. I saw a thing where I think it was Prince Harry, and something the other day about Elton being a supporter of Prince Harry, and I thought, well, if he actually was going to help him, he'd help him to get free of that damn thing that attached itself to him, that he seemed to fall under the spell of. And of course, I know it's supposed to be representative of the white marrying the black, but again, unlike me, Harry actually stood before a priest or something, accepting the thing and speaking vows of holy matrimony, which of course we never did and wouldn't. And that whole damn story is about as idiotic as anything I've ever seen or heard, to tell you the truth. And what he was thinking to go and be with such a woman, the only thing I can think is he was in fact under a spell of some sort. And but the stories I've heard is that they've always bad-mouthed the royal family and this and that, and I mean, and now he's in debt for like $67 million in legal fees or something, and that's going to be just part of it. He's going to have to pay like legal expenses for the Daily Mail, I hear, which that's not going to be fun. And I'm thinking, well, how could you advise someone like that? But you're not supposed to marry devils. And if they are a devil, then perhaps the church you belong to will grant you a divorce, right? For the love of God, because we don't want to be making abominable unions, something that God's going to look at and go, what the heck is going on there? It's very strange. And then I got some of the other news stuff going on about the supposed enemy and all this stuff, and it doesn't seem like it's quite ended to me. I was seeing the indications. I tried to tune into the Black Witch a little bit yesterday. I tried, but I just leap forward through it until it broke bad and started being real mouthy and mean and angry, threatening. And I said, okay, yes, you're still exactly the same, and tuned right back out. And I've watched this one that I know is one of them, working for the other side, because she's showing up with like 3 different faces on there trying to do the prophetic thing. And she was saying something about how now that you've accepted God's assignment, I'll tell you right now, I have the light with me. That's the assignment. There is no other assignment. I'm not here to benefit those of the evil, them of the darkness. I'm not here to, at my expense or in any way, be sacrificed to help anything that's dead, already dead on their side. That's, again, those little things were already done. And if we were supposed to try and help them, well, we tried, but we couldn't do any better, than what happened because of all the evil people that were involved. So, no, the love thing is just gone from me. I know the evil witch is real unhappy about the fact that, I say, well, I'm done. you know, and but then again, you know, hey, no one respected anything we were saying before, right? So why would they respect anything we're saying now? But you know, it's like I said about the cool chick. She was the last one that I was going to fall for, or do anything at all like that. And the reason why is because, well, the reasons keep multiplying, don't they? But you know, I've seen, you know, where there's other women out there saying, "Hey, we're not all out to do this, that, or another to you." And it's like, well, it don't matter. One of your kind already has. See, that's the thing. What most people are not missing is we already lost, and we haven't received that back. So we're not the same guy. In as much as, well, I mean, hey, you have to evolve, right? And the way I look at it is, I don't have that stuff to risk anymore. And besides, what was taken from us was a lot more than we were willing to give. My God in heaven, I would have had to work really hard to give them that much, don't you think? But so no, we're not on board with these people. They're not going to be on board with me. We will run the filters again. It's absolute guarantee, because our goal, you see, is not to be a baller, and even getting taller isn't really a thing. You know, we're not saying I'm not saying I wish I had a cat in a hat and I wish I was a baller and I wish I was taller. We're not saying that. We said exactly what we wanted back the last time we were asked what we wanted, which was to leave, to go on up and go back and be with, you know, the white folk, the ones that love us so and that we love. Because if we're there with him, then I know we get up what we need to be repaired. That's all. It's how it worked out. It was unfortunate. Maybe they were getting bad advice or this or that, but it really doesn't matter, because what it is, hey, you really damaged the shit out of the ship. Wow. How do you think that's going to fare? How's that supposed to... Oh, it was a mutiny, I guess. At first it was an invasion, and then they decided to... Well, anyway, we're going to move on past that. And again, we're not wishing anyone ill at this point, but really seriously, you do need to let us go and let's move on, because we're not black and we don't do black things and we're not marrying the black. That's just what it is. I have no agreements with anything of the darkness. I rebuke, repudiate, refuse, and refute all that is the kingdom of darkness and any agreements they may try to impose upon me, because we're not accepting them. We're not married to anything of the darkness. That's just as simple as that. And anything that comes after us to harm us in any way is the enemy. That's the way it is. If you are supportive of the enemies, if you're friends with the enemy, then that means you're in their camp. Goodbye. It's as simple as this. Because we can't afford people that are indecisive about who they're going to be or what they're going to be loyal to. That's just, again, pragmatism. Well, I was listening to CJ earlier, and he was talking about our projects that we're going to be working on, and the fact that the work that we're going to be doing, we're going to be enjoying. So it really won't seem like, you know, that big of a, not a task, you know, not like hard labor or something, you know. I'm not exactly sure what he was meaning, because what I'm most passionate about, of course, is leaving, and getting higher, going far and above and beyond the reach of all that is the kingdom of darkness, all that is black, all that is the evil, all that has conspired against me, because that's all the enemy. You see, if you conspire against someone, that means you're the enemy. You're not a helper. You're not a part of their team. You've conspired against the captain of the ship. You see what I'm saying? You can't do that and expect to remain part of the ship. So that's what that is, and we're going to move on. The thing I saw a couple times yesterday at the store, in retrospect, I think probably was reminding me of the witch. And it was doing a cute thing, Who knows? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I couldn't really get a real solid glimpse of it, but apparently they're, I heard people's eyes, someone's eyes have changed, and I don't know if they've gone from what they changed to. No one said, but yeah, it is. The fact of the matter is that we have become kind of partial to certain eye colors. I've noticed that whenever I look back into the hazel eyes, I'm not really all impressed that much. There's only one woman I know of that I really like hazel eyes on. Otherwise, the rest of the time it's like, what are you doing with eyes like me? There's not supposed to be so many of you. It's supposed to be more rare. The passionate thing, the passion that we have, is different from the passion that they have. This whole thing about passion, the low crowd sees passion as one thing, one thing only. Because I don't think they have heart passion, emotional passion, like those that love do. And more than anything, that was the passion that was worth the most. To be impassioned regarding something, to have the emotional backing in it, So you could have like fervor, for example. So I remember CSN was saying basically, the mission was to get up there and speak some truth and speak to the madness and speak against the madness. Well, all I can tell you is what our goal is still the same thing that it was 16, 17 years ago whenever they asked me what I wanted, which was to leave. So yeah, all we're trying to do is keep on going up, getting closer and closer to God, and because it's our goal to leave and go to heaven and be done with this material world and no more have any kind of conflict with anyone. It was funny. I tuned into this, representation of something that I guess is someone who got into the witch. Anyway, she, like I said, I skipped through it, and get to certain points. I'll stop and I'll listen to for a minute, and then I'll go on. I think they're living in a state of conflict, and that's all they have is conflict. And that they may live for conflict. It's not peace. It's certainly by no means or any measure peace. Whenever you're dreaming of having a problem with someone in your dreams, and that you're trying to vindicate yourself or argue a case or something like that in your dreams rather than in life, it represents a lot of frustration. And it's what I see there is lots of attitude. Lots and lots of attitude. Anger. But I don't know that there's any understanding. I do know that I think one of the, I can't remember which it was, one of their instructional cards that they might pay attention to, but yes, it's true. The oxygen machine still continues on, guys. I can tell you there is a state of being, and that's what we're talking about, guys. Altered states of being. All right? And it is altered states of perception. But what I'm seeing in a lot of them, especially the real angry ones, is that they're experiencing stuff, but they're not understanding things as well. Just like I've gone through. I've been down low, and now I know what it is to be in an altered state, which is very different from what my normal operational standards are. And so you don't think the same. You don't understand the same. You don't perceive the same. I think the phrase I learned, it was probably due to one of the cards, like I was saying, was sensation divorced from understanding. And like I say, I don't know what to do with anybody like that. It's just, you're not in a conversation with them, but yet still they're trying to do their whole thing and say there is some kind of agreement and that they're supposed to have rights to you, and that just sounds like a demon to me. And we don't take on demons, or they're what would they call aspirants, those that aspire to be like the devils. We don't take on devils. Like I say, it's a ship of the light, and the light is where we're from. And I guess the light gave me time to do whatever I was supposed to do and learn about here and live like a normal human before it finally came back down and matched with me again. Which point changes everything. All those regular low-life goals that one might have, chicks and cars and cash and bars or something. I don't know, whatever it is, the unenlightened is supposed to only focus on, like a rap star maybe. Again, that's programming. And I was watching this clip from this Herzog guy. He was down in psychology. He says it's a scourge. Basically, it's a disease of our time. Psychology and psychiatrists, and so that was interesting. I think his name's Herzog. He was in that Tom Cruise movie as the prisoner, the bad boss guy. But in another little piece, they had him saying something about it, and he said something about how if you bring bright light into your house and you light up all of every last space brightly, he said, this was his assertion, it'll become inhabitable. Humans won't be able to habitate in that because it's just too bright. All right, well, okay, let's say that's the environment and that's truth. Which I can't say that at all, because I know you can adapt and you can become adjust to it. You can acclimate to it. You'd probably need a sleep mask. But and then he went on further to say, if a human becomes enlightened, I guess, or is lit, and so that there is no dark corners within them, then they become inhuman, and it's not habitable again or something. But I guess, that's what we're doing, is we're going back to the light to be light, and all of the dark corners have been swept clean and free, and that's what is going on, is we're going to remain clean and free of the demonic, because we do rebuke the demonic completely and refute them and repudiate them in all manners. We have no agreement with anything the demonic, and those that try to say we do, I think, are the demonic. Basically, most of the prophetic people I've found online are the demonic, and they're only about getting what they can out of. I guess we don't even know what this is, if this is a dream or not. Heard the Metallica jumping on it yesterday, with their Sandman thing, and I heard that, and I was like, well, I only listen to those guys so much. I mean, what they do is they do well, but no, it's not enter night and exit light. It's exit night with the light. That's what we're doing. After the light came down to me, that's all we're doing. We're making it through the night or out of the night. We're going up. That's just business. Our personal life, well, again, I haven't been with a woman in 16 years. Okay? Or 17, something like that. And the love thing, well, that was all imaginary, wasn't it? Imaginary lovers. Well, maybe they're from the moon. It does look like there has been, more opportunities recently. But again, it wasn't the thing. See, the thing, guys, about that whole thing is we already lost. We already lost. And that pretty much, whenever they did what they did to us, and as much as they did to us, and Thomas Lee laughed his ass off. He's like, wow. Because, gee whiz, they really did, they were successful. Very successful in what they were trying to do to us. That was it. We didn't have any more to risk or play or, And as far as getting married, well, I guess I'm going to have to get rebuilt, because we were complete before, and I guess it could have worked out then. But again, all I get from the light is come home. Come on home. Come up. Come up. Come home. So as far as accepting the assignment, no, I'm not accepting any assignment from any black dog or any other junk person who's going to pretend like they're God over me when they're not. We're going to continue up. And because this whole thing about, you're going to be this or feel this or da 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 da. Remember, I've already been to the top. I used to live up there. Everything was just, what it was. And we're going back. That's all. Now, if there's some problem with some family somewhere, then, hey, you know what? Just get out of our way and let us do what we do, and we'll go on. Again, we're just for the Father. Don't hate the mother, but there was this gigantress that walked by me yesterday with some interesting tattoos, and I that's what caught me was her tattoos, strange tattoos of like a hand coming on to her arm, and then another one on the other side. And as she walked by, I was noticing this, and I was looking at, God, she's too tall for me. And then, of course, I couldn't help it, but my eyes dropped down, and I saw ass that was in gym shorts or something. I mean, it was thin material, and I thought I might go blind. And I closed my eyes, and I shook my head, and looked away, and the roomie was there. And she's like, you can tell you're a man. And I'm like, well, I guess priests notice it as well, and they're, men are men, and they are programmed a certain way. But that doesn't mean you can't break the program, and it doesn't mean the programming hasn't been broken. Like I said, it's been a long time. I can't imagine. I can't even imagine. That's the whole thing. It's like, why in God's name would I try to take on a wife after everything that's happened to me? The responsibility of a wife? God's showing me that I'm not that guy. They're talking about, well, God was doing this and God was teaching that. You know what? I saw one where he says, God won't let them touch you anymore. Yeah, unlike with Job, right? Because, they've been touching me. I thought it was the story of Job in a sense when it first started out, since everything was crashing down. I was having everything, loose and everything. It was like, there was your life, goodbye. But no, it wasn't. It's an evil damn dead. So we're going to keep on going up. That's what we're doing. That's all we're up about. The passion that I have is for the project of the truth. I'm not here to work. It's because they were trying to imply this the other day. I'm like, one of these girls were trying to say basically they are me, and that they feel all these things and experienced all those things, and basically they're just trying to tell me my story. Now I understand what that is. It's either they're psycho, ego, crazy person who thinks somebody's going to believe him, or they're trying to be someone I can identify with. Now, a simple fact of the matter is I don't have my eyes open far enough to be able to see your soul yet. I could probably look and find out, but we don't do a lot of that, although we will. And so we have to rely on our filters. I am the day. Heaven and sky makes me the day. Without the other, without any other, It's the day. Only day. Doing the day thing. Surrounded by the day on my way to the light. The light is with me. I'm going home. What we experience along the path upwards, it's not going to be endless battle. I'm not going to be performing endlessly to feed others that are not a part of what I am and don't support me, etc., so on and so forth. And we're going to continue advancing and get up and out. That's the whole idea. It's not to stay forever. It's not, like I say, it's not to be a baller. It's we're not making wishes to be taller. What we've been showing is we didn't have our, we weren't covered, and we got connected to the dam, the evil, the actual enemies of God had their hands on me. So what do I want? I want to be free of all that. We want to go up. We want to get on up into the heavens and stay there. That's where we're making our home. Because there's not anything of interest down here. Whenever they talk about, I saw one the other day that was remind me of, the one that we were actually feeling like there was something to do with. And they were saying something, I'm going to have to go back and watch it. I didn't get to see it all. But they were saying something about how, God still is going to make your dreams come true or something or whatever. And and then another one was saying what God promised you, well, is He's going to make, you know what? The book says God promises me freedom. If I'm for Jesus and He's, and I'm saying I'm going to do that and I'm going that way, then I'm supposed to be made free. The truth, know the truth, and the truth will make you free. I'm supposed to be free. I've been waiting on that for many, many years now. And free means free of them of the darkness. There's no attachments to you by anything black. Any black families. There are no witches or sorcerers that is part of this house. That's not freedom, if they are. Because we're supposed to be free of them and what they do. Above and beyond what they do and cast and hate, devise, and all that stuff. So that's where we're going. We're just going to keep on going up. The love thing, hey, I'm not going to say never, right? Never say never. That's what I heard. But I just, I think the Gigantus was this one chick that has been following me around, probably because of Sylvester. But I think she's one of them. But again, I see what I see is the problem. Like, for example, whenever I walked by one of them yesterday at the Wally World, it was presenting as a guy. And there was a moment as I was coming down the aisle that I felt recognition of them somehow. And I nodded at them, and they nodded back at me, and I realized that, no, they don't like me. They have anger for me. And then as I walked by, I realized something else. And then later I thought about him, and I thought, no, it wasn't a guy. It was a chick. But it looked like a guy, big like a guy, a bunch of hair growing on his face. But they're upset about something, and I know that as far as love goes, everything that could have been done to destroy it and end it forever, I think they've pretty much done. Because how would I ever look at another woman and go, oh, I'm going to love them? How would I ever do that? Not knowing who their master is. Not knowing which wizard pimp is trying to get me to want that. You see what I'm saying? We want to leave. We want to be free of the damn darkness that we never consensually were a part of, and we're supposed to be doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is making it through the night, up and out, be done with it, be over. I've been promised I'll never have to come back and do anything like this again. And that sort of tells me it must have been optional. And whatever bill of goods was sold to me won't be sold to me again, because we would never, ever voluntarily place ourselves at risk like we have been. Not ever again. To come in and be made to forget who you are, and that you are actually a part of them, and that you love them, and and to be made angry at them in your youth and your stupidity because you still haven't fully formed, etc. Blah, 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 blah. Nah. And Billy Joel said, only the good die young. Well, you know what? I'm not Catholic. I never was Catholic. I know they've used us, and I know that they have to let me go because they don't control the light. They don't want to work against the light. I know they don't want to do that. They don't want to hold the light down. They don't want to try to capture the light. Nor do they want to send anyone to do any of these things for them. Nor shall they, lest it come back upon them and that and the Vatican fall into the ground and be swallowed up. You can call yourself a church, but unless Christ is with you, and unless that is the deal, and you are for the Father, I don't see where it's going. But again, is there love? Yeah, there's good love. And I have love of all those that sincerely love me. And I will want to be helpful of them. And yeah, I saw the Bing Crosby thing again today. Do you hear what I hear? Only he was performing it. And they had a nice little background behind him. And they had a 7-pointed star. And really what it looked like was a 6-pointed star with a great big long line coming down off of it. And I see that as possibly the tail that they had. Tail as big as a kite. Whatever that means. And I think the tail is those that they have coming up, that are joining with them. And that is their process that they are going through, because they're going to be ascending up to be with. And I can only tell you this: if I had such an arrangement, these kinds that we've had trouble with would be deep down in the tail. And those kinds of people would be in a place that they would be no more of a threat to me than they would be if they were hanging in a dungeon 3 levels below surface level, chained to a wall. You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And you can tell whatever stories you want, I guess. They don't have any power. It's again, we have a lot of repairs to do and get fixed up, and then we're gone, because that's all we're doing. We're leaving. There's nothing I can see that would make me want to stay in whatever it is that this world is. As far as love and relationships go, well, I have not been presented anything. The one little girl was talking about, how she felt like, since she was giving my story back to me, she felt like an alien and blah, 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 and she's always been, so alone. And you know what? You just have to get used to it. This is what it is. I don't feel lonely, per se. And the reason why is because these things that, we would reach out for to alleviate any such detrimental feelings seem like aliens to me. Dangerous aliens that are possibly very harmful. Because if I feel sorry as I'll get up for every man out there who stupidly fell in love with one of those things and married it. They're going to have to be extricated from them. It might take a while, but I'm sure it'll happen. If they've got God, sooner or later they have to be set free of the horror from the night that has glommed on to them. And why did all of this happen? Well, it was due to ignorance. Isn't that what Jesus said? His people perish for lack of knowledge. That's what he said. It doesn't mean their souls are going to perish. It doesn't mean that they're certainly not going to be as big and as healthy and as well as he'd have them be. So what's my passion? I guess it's talking about the difference between light and dark and some of the mechanics of it and what it's like to go to hell and to be fed upon by them that are dead. What do you think? Do you think it'll be a pretty good deal? Do you think we'll get a movie deal out of it? Maybe we can get Tom Cruise to play me or something. And keep on thinking I'm going to end up in a band called the Tom, comma, etc. ellipsis band. And the song will be, "Hey Tom, come and join the Tom Club." Maybe. Guys, thank you so very much for all of your love and support. It does feel like we're in a transition, sort of a strange state of being right now. I'm not exactly sure some of the stuff that I've been seeing, but I do know that we will be running filters just to make sure that we are free of it. It really has. There is a difference, and it's been coming on more and more the last few days. And there is more peace. It is quieter. I mean, there's times where, guys, if you could witness this, you'd swear you heard, wind blowing in my head. Proverbial airhead.